1 in 20 people is considered a sensitive person, HSP. This means that you can be sensitive to yourself or to someone you know. 42% of the population is not very sensitive, which means most things are not as busy for them as they would be with an HSP. Everything else falls somewhere in between, and some are completely out of reach. Incidentally, 20% of the entire animal kingdom is too sensitive. Who are the HSPs and what do they want? Who are the HSPs? We are the thinking, the careful, the conservative. The ones saying, hey, wait a minute, let's think this over before we do anything rash. Every society needs highly sensitive people, just as we need warriors, leaders who are willing to take risks. However, we are the ones who help moderate the less sensitive men, who may be brave, careless and passive and may not think about the consequences of their actions. People who are overly sensitive are often the people who are in the roles of mentors, advisors, and moderates. Unfortunately, in Western society, we are also labeled flawed, the way non-HSP sees us. We are considered too sensitive, too careful, too timid, too introverted, too scared. What you should note is that these are not problems that should be corrected and resolved by sensitive people. These are the labels attached that cause problems. Many insensitive people are also shy, fearless, introverted, and scared, while many are sensitive to outgoing, overly friendly, outgoing, and risk-taking people. We tend to think things through first and weigh all the sensory factors before moving on. Misconceptions and attributes. So what are some of the traits and characteristics of a very sensitive person? Let's look at some of the facts and myths associated with this special group. Shame. You'll probably find a lot of shy people in the HSP team. This does not mean that everyone is shy. This is a legend. Many insensitive people are also ashamed. Sometimes perceived shame is really an assessment of the situation and the people we meet. We are careful. If our senses say that something is not right about man, then we will not be open to it. First impressions of the number. This is not just the way people dress, but all their thoughts, aura, attitudes and other small subtleties that we absorb into all of our senses. We process the thoughts, feelings and sensations we receive in each new situation. It can make some of us shy when we are not around. Introvert, another legend. You will find that many HSPs can be extroverts, and fun-loving. You will also know that many people are not sensitive to introverts. Do not confuse deep thinking and internal reflection as introversion. We need more time alone. This is because our nervous system can become so overloaded with a situation that an insensitive person will find quite refreshing. If we are tired and overworked, we need to find a quiet place as soon as possible to calm down. This is why many HSPs tend to stay home most of the time, rather than socialize. It's not that we want to, we just know our systems can't handle that extra length. If we can't escape, we will approach ourselves, as a kind of protective shield, to try to reduce the noise, scenery, sound and smell that bombs us to calm us down. Fear. Unless you are completely offended and unconsciously cared for others, who can say that they are not afraid of the times? This is not an exclusive feature for sensitive people. New experiences often cause butterflies, scary thoughts, and internal confusion in most people. HSPs tend to only feel those emotions. Shame, caution, careful analysis of the situation. The need to see the big picture and the possible consequences resulting from our actions are only of our nature. If everyone rushed everyone without thinking, we would have more trouble in our world than we have now. Too sensitive. Yes, this is our main feature. We think everyone around us at once. Lights, noises, smells, vibrations, all are absorbed, processed and analyzed. Unfortunately, when there is so much activity and noise around, we can't handle it for long. For example, what might be a low to moderate level of music for someone who is not sensitive may sound like the level of a rock concert to us. Emotionally, much of the disagreement in the world affects us. We feel other people's anxiety. We sense a low level of anger or resentment in a room. We respond to other people's problems and feel a great deal of grief for horrible tragedies. What does it all mean? A sensitive person can get subtleties around that many non-sensors see or feel. This can give us some great advantages. This can save us in many situations where there are problems with brewing. Our practices can prevent us from making harmful business or personal decisions if we follow our instincts. And because of our deep sense of the environment around us, we often think of others about potential environmental issues that companies ignore in principle for their own benefit. Often HSPs push for reforms and changes in government law for the good of all. As with anything, it's good to know that you are not alone, that there are others who have to deal with the same kinds of situations and labels as you. Granted, it doesn't hurt, but you know there are other guys you can look up to and talk to, and they'll understand. Yes, we are likely to exhibit more of the above qualities and attributes than people who are insensitive, but we are not exclusive owners of them either. Sometimes this is a misunderstanding of what is really going on in the mind of an HSP of non-HSP people. Only another person who is sensitive enough to truly understand. The good news is that sensitive people have been around for as long as humans have walked the earth, and we are always here, working to make the world a better, more thoughtful, and peaceful paradise.